Okay, fabulous. I'm so excited to be here, Mel.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for the chat.
And thank you for coming back and joining us again. And so to our viewers, I'd like to introduce you to an amazing woman who's about to launch her first book in spite of many challenges she's had to overcome. She's an internationally recognized astrologer, a business writer, and an editor. She lives in beautiful Perth with her husband and her two teenage boys. And I met Mel a few years ago through our Mahat meditation community. And I loved her energy and her vibe. She tells it as it is. And it's this raw honesty that attracts people to Mel. So Melanie Dufty, welcome. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be talking to you.
Good. So Mel, I'd like to just start off by asking you, what is it that lights you up? What makes you feel alive?
Wow. What makes you feel alive? Food, good food and nature, especially if we can combine them. And I guess what makes me feel most alive is energy. So that's why I guess we've met through that pathway of meditation and connection with the soul and energy medicine. So yeah, the more my energy is in tune, the more I feel connected with my soul, the more I'm lit up. So I would say, yeah, to summarize, soul connection.
Oh, beautiful.
But I do like some food as well. And wine.
I'm with you on that one, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. So tell us a little bit about your journey to this point, where you've been and sort of where you've come to.
Okay, well, up until, it's a long time ago now because I'm not a 20-year-old anymore, but up until I was about 34, I was very into my corporate career and I worked in communications. I was always in the media. I was like very ambitious about climbing the corporate ladder. In the banking and retail industry, like corporate communication realms. And I didn't believe in anything about, the soul or a higher meaning of life even. And then after I had my first son, I just felt very like empty. And even though I had all these great things going on for me and had, achieved all of these like successes on a certain level. So it was at that point 15 years ago that I started to get into looking for higher meaning in life. And over the years, I've studied so many things looking for why do we have darkness? Why do we have suffering? All those eternal human questions. Yes. And in 2012, I discovered as an astrologer, this incredible astrological model that just answered all of my questions and resonated so deeply with me, which is called the Grand Processional Cross. And it shows how humans have different eras of about 6,000 years where we sort of explore having, in a way, which is what the book's about, the feminine ruling the scene, which is so long ago that we don't really remember that at all. And then for the last 6,000 or so years, we've had the masculine ruling the scene. So I wanted to explore that, and I wanted to do it through a novel because it's way more fun and way more engaging and way more rollicking, and but it's able to give those messages and explain those things, but not in an earnest sort of non-fiction way. I don't think anyone would have really heard it through that.
That's right. We all like a bit of fun, don't we?
Yeah. We need to engage and make it interesting and cool. But yeah, for me, I want to read rollicking, interesting, fun, edgy stories myself, but I do want higher meaning as well. So that's what this book has sought to deliver.
Yes. Well, it sounds really exciting. I can't wait to get to the parts where we discuss about the book, actually.
Yeah.
So on your website, I've seen you talk about being a Unifist. So just explain what that term means. I think I get it, but a little bit of clarity, actually.
Yeah. Well, for most of my life, I definitely considered myself a feminist, and definitely not that a feminist has to be angry, but I'm quite like, that's the sort of way I err with things. generally. And so I'd say, yeah, quite angry, and actually that's probably an understatement. I would say devastated about the big picture of the way that things have gone with the feminine. And that's why I was so amazed and bowled over by that astrological model that I was speaking of, that shows how we have different eras. So I was always a feminist, and I'm not, I don't like to have it, you can't say this word, or you have to tread around on eggshells about what words you use. I'm not like that at all. And I would still say I am a feminist and also a masculinist, because after, investigating and really digesting the way that this understanding of human evolution that I'm so into, which is epitomised by Lilith, the story of Lilith, absolutely epitomised by it, which is why I wrote about it. I felt so deeply compassionate about what had happened, and about the masculine, and how we've had this journey of feeling separated. So yeah, the new word Unifist just fits better than saying feminist. So I want to make sure that I'm seen as my messages are about that, because Lilith has got a very dark reputation, a misunderstood reputation, and including as a man killer type thing. And I just want to be clear that that's not the intention with the book.
Yes. Oh, good. Well, it sounds fascinating, actually, because that's right. I mean, I think we're heading into this time of unification in all aspects of our lives, isn't it? And it's time that the feminine and masculine sort of unite and come together. Yes, perfect.
Exactly. And that's what this astrological evolutionary cycle is, that for 12,000 years we've had an experience of separation, and right now is the timeline when we come back together. So it's almost like it's almost like, you could say it's almost like a cosmic lovemaking, as in you go out, you separate, and you come back together. If you just stay together or stay apart, where's the fun in that, right? So it's like, but on that galactic level, and it's not just a theory, it's actually a movement of, the Earth in relation to the center of the galaxy. So it's like we turn away and we have an experience of separation and darkness, and then the Earth's spin axis turns back in over this long time frame. And we are absolutely now due the era of unity between the two, not just in our bodies, the sex of, whether a male or female, but beyond that into the unification of the yin yang, and
yes, and
higher feminine.
Really, absolutely. Oh, excellent. So the other thing I did see on your website, which fascinates me, is that you did 500 kilometers of the Camino de Santiago pilgrimage route. That's amazing. So how did that go? And did you come back sort of a changed person? Did it enlighten you in any way? What did you get from it?
Yeah. Well, I've always been incredibly unphysical. Like, I hate physical stuff. I don't exercise or anything like that. I'm just not into it. So it was really bizarre that I wanted to do it, but I absolutely felt a calling, and I had crazy synchronicities, like ridiculous. Just constantly putting the Camino in front of my face, really crazy ones, and which I always listen to. And I just, I decided to do it. And it was amazing. It was sometimes very lonely because I went by myself, but I also met some really special people, like I feel, still really connected to. But it was a funny mix. Like, it wasn't all glamour, that's for sure. It was grueling, but yes, there was something very particular that shifted within me, and I sort of knew something was going to happen, because why else would I be so drawn to go? And I did experience it, and it's kind of hard to sum up in a nutshell, but it was something to do with around allowing the masculine back into my field. Not that it's ever technically left it, but it was like maybe from a heart pain or a stubborn refusal to accept and receive the masculine energy. Something really big shifted on that, and I know exactly what happened and when it really busted through. And it was, it's connected with the whole story, which I think everyone's soul journey, all the bits twined together.
Oh gosh. I love it. I love it. And I guess, I mean, that's the perfect place to do so much self-reflection and soul-searching, and isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's just the stepping, like, you know, walking 20 Ks a day or so. Just it takes like, yeah, an hour and a half or something of stepping to and then your mind just quietens, but it takes a long time. And that was always such a great thing. And then it would get quite simple, back to simple things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, doing those simple things allowed for some deep stirring, I think, of the things that had to crack through. So it was such a funny mix of like really grounded, simple stuff, and just wanting that shower, just wanting that next stop and that next meal. And
yes, you're coming right back to basics, hey?
Yeah. At the same time, it was deep as well as basics. So,
yes,
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome. So now to the exciting bit. So the book, I mean, you've given us a little bit of info around it. I guess, what inspired you to write it? I mean, was it because you mentioned about the whole feminine, masculine, you know, within your own life? Is that what finally got you to write the book, or because you've been on this journey of wanting to write something?
Yes, that's right. I wanted to write since I was a kid. And I'm a business writer, but I hadn't written any fiction or anything more creative. So yeah, I loved Lilith, and I found out I was already loving Lilith, who in Jewish mythology, because not everyone's heard of Lilith, was married to Adam before Eve. And then Adam said that she was inferior to him and she had to go beneath him, including in sex. And she's like, yeah, nah. And she left him. And because she was like the disobedient feminine, she was demonized and exiled for thousands of years. And she's very still strong in, a lot of people, over thousands of years, people were terrified of her. She was called the first vampire, the baby killer, associated with, you know, any miscarriage or stillbirth or infertility. Really quite dark as a demoness. And to me, it just felt like that all the parts that were rejected in the feminine, in women, like very sexual, super sexual. So her sexuality, her power with her own fertility, her independence, were hated on. So she sort of became the outcasted figure of hate, and everyone had amulets made against her. In truth, they did, in actual history. Yes. So I was always like loving her. And then I found out that, you know, I was talking about this evolutionary model. I found out that 6,000 years ago, which I already knew was when the end of a feminine ruled era occurred in this model. And then it was the turn for the masculine to be on top in this model. And then I found out that Adam and Eve are widely understood by like biblical scholars, even though this book's not biblical or religious. It's much more, I'd say, radical, but they lived 6,000 years ago at that very turning point. So I was like, so after that, I just was like, I'm going to tell the story that I wanted to share about human evolution and how we had to come apart to come together. Otherwise, we wouldn't be wise. Because if you just unified all along and you never experience what it is to have contrast, to have what it is, you know, to know hot or cold, or love or fear, you just don't even know how good you've got it. So the purpose of it is to evolve consciousness of this cycle, but we are due back at the good bit. Okay. So the book has got that high meaning, but there's another element to it. It's kind of like, which bits do you want to hear about? Like the more fun bits I can do.
Well, you see, that's my next question was, well, what's the book trying to tell us? Like, what's the core message? But I don't know, maybe we have to wait and read it.
Well, the core message is that there is a higher order to human evolution and why there's separation and all of that. But, you know, the book is about a feminine ruled era, and I'm saying that they were just as difficult to men as the patriarchal last 6,000 years has been to the feminine. It's just we don't remember. It's so foreign. It's like we can't believe it. So, you know, the early readers are all going, oh my God, it was so amazing to be in like live or enter like a very luxurious, sophisticated, beautiful, sensual world where women completely ruled. Like, and they were bitches. So like my point is we're not victimized. The book is they were very dark and controlling to the masculine. But Lilith was had a real desire for equality, and she felt really bad, but it was her job to uphold this feminine rule, because they had a prophecy and a vision of these thousands of years of masculine domination, and they were trying to stop it. So they would just try and control men more and more and more. And then there is an overthrow. And so, yeah, some of the people are saying it's really fun and exciting to enter that world and feel what it's like to be a woman, where a woman's sexuality, her fertility, everything is just absolutely revered. Like the very concept that a woman could ever be in any danger or is just unheard of. So that's, people are saying, yeah, that's really interesting. And then they sort of get taken along the journey and look into things a bit deeper. But yeah, it does have a lot of sexuality, because it has to, because that's what Lilith is known for, is that true feminine sexuality, and just control over a woman's own fertility and all of that's like a big thing for Lilith and in the book.
Oh, excellent. I like this message.
Look, yeah, so it's fun, on that level, it's fun to read and quite juicy and evocative. And, it was such an exotic place, ancient Sumer, very sophisticated, which they, in truth, in, historical fact, those civilizations in ancient Sumer before Babylon were extremely advanced, and then they had some sort of demise, but they were incredibly sophisticated. So there's quite a lot of historical information in there about how they lived. But it's pretty glam as well, so an edge of fantasy to it as well.
Yes. Oh, sounds fabulous. And so Mel, can we expect any, I know this is only the launch of this one, but do you think there are going to be more books coming our way?
Yeah, I do. It's quite a lot to explain, but I do have a basic plot for a book that's actually, goes back more into Atlantis and when they first fell out of unity, because that's part of this great vast cycle that I'm fascinated with. Yes. So when humanity first fell out of unity and how that happened, and I wanted to have some of the same characters in there, but in different expressions. And so that seems quite daunting at the moment because I've only just finished this, but it's so fun, and it's such a creative joy once you get into it. So I do imagine doing more.
Excellent. And you might find that they sort of start flowing, isn't it? And certain things would be easier, I guess, and maybe you have other new challenges as you embark on the other books and other sort of journeys of it.
It's a bit of an unknown just now.
Yes, excellent. So Mel, the book will be released 30th of November, am I correct?
Yes, so it will be on all the channels. Yes,
because I saw it on Goodreads and Amazon. Where else? So where else can people buy the book? I mean, can they contact you directly? You have
well, they can ask it there at any bookstore as soon as they say I am Lilith or Melanie Dufty. They'll just order it straight in for you. They're all hooked up to do that. Booktopia is a website that I really like because Amazon's is good, but they're kind of so dominant across the world, and I'm quite enjoying using Booktopia. It's even just to deal with them, you can feel there's just a bit more intimacy, a bit more, less cutthroat. But, Amazon is huge, so you can, of course, get it there. Booktopia, Book Depository, Apple Books, Kobo. It's on all of those outlets, but it's really great if people are interested to ask in any bookstore as well, and they're very accustomed to people doing that, and they'll get it straight in. Not so much directly through me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'll put a link on your to your website underneath this interview, and then people can at least go there, have a look, and they can then
all the links will be there direct to those retailers from the 30th of November.
Yes, excellent. And Mel, you do the birth charts and all those astrological charts, because I also wanted to just let our listeners know that I've had my birth chart done with Mel. My kids have done theirs, and I got my husband to do his, and they are fabulously accurate. Actually, I was blown away. It's fabulous. So you still do those as well, don't you?
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, I do still do them. I don't know for how much longer.
You might be too busy.
Yeah, roll up. Yeah.
So
I
get
do
in
love
while you still
doing
can.
them. Yeah,
Yes.
I do love doing them, and I love connecting with people and talking about their soul destiny and all those things that you can see in a chart in grounded ways. But I do love it. Yeah, so I'm still doing that, and that's all on my website too.
Yes, excellent. And then you have a blog that goes out in a newsletter, and you give us tips of what's going on astrologically and anything else as well.
Yes, yeah. People can sign up for my newsletter on my website, and I just do a monthly newsletter with a few tips and book updates and giveaways maybe, and all
Fabulous.
that kind of thing.
Excellent. Well, Mel, thank you so much for this interview. Thank you for joining me and giving us a bit of info on your book. I'm very excited to get a copy. It'll be lovely. And we'll touch base again, I think maybe on the next release of your next one.
Yes. Thank you so much, Lisa. It was really good fun talking to you. Thank you.
Awesome. You're very welcome.
Okay.
Thanks, Mel. See you.
Bye.
Bye.